Hey, what's going on, guys? Derek James here with another episode of FBO Live reading RFPs. Today is September 11th. Never forget. What were you guys doing on September 11th? I remember that I was homesick from school that day. I think I was in 5th or 6th grade or something like that. Um, and it was like on the news, and my mom called me and she's like, hey, you want to see history in the making? Turn on the TV. She was at work and I was just at home by myself, I think, and it was just like, man, this is crazy, right? Actually, I think I was in 8th or ninth grade because I was home alone. But yeah, I think it's the 17th anniversary. It's really, really insane. It still seems like it was just yesterday. So thinking of everybody in our country that was affected on that day. But today, what we're doing on FBO Live is what we typically do. Nothing too crazy today. We are looking at solicitations, unfiltered RFPs that I've pulled up on Biz Opps. So let's get to it. And if this is your first time watching one of these or joining, I've done quite a few in the past and I continue to keep doing them. So if you like them, please consider subscribing. That is something that will benefit you. And there's not really people doing this on YouTube or online. So I don't know anywhere else that you can kind of get people walking you through solicitations. You know, a lot of people charge thousands of dollars to teach people how to read through these things. And the big thing is to realize it's really not that hard. A lot of it is intuitive. A lot of it is intimidation factor that holds people back. There is a bit of a learning curve, don't get me wrong. I mean, the first year I looked at these things, it definitely was hard. So I'm not taking that away from it. But I'm just telling you, once you get the hang of it, you can navigate these yourself. And it's all about practice, practice, practice. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I do these, is just to get you used to seeing this. And I'm showing you, basically 90 to 95%. So if you watch and you watch the whole video, you watch multiple of these that I have, you're going to get to see a lot of what is included in these RFPs. And I talk about as much of the important stuff as I can. And then there's not much else but to just like fill in the gaps of putting your proposal together. So if you're wanting to get in business, or if you're in business and you're having a hard time or you don't know where to start, just start looking at these things, get some practice, get some repetition under your belt, and realize that these really aren't that big and scary as they seem. And my whole image that I try to portray is, I was 25, 26 when I got into this, and I learned it. So if a kid can learn it, why can't you? That's the whole brand behind GovKid Method. My website is that so easy a kid could do it, basically. And that really is something that I believe. So I've got a few that I've pulled off here real quickly. It's just really based by name. Just I try to spread them out to different types of work. So the first one is for a hotel room BPA. BPA stands for Blanket Purchase Agreement, and that means it is a contract vehicle that they can award task orders from. So if you were to win this, for example, you wouldn't get an award for any money. Instead, you get the award for a vehicle that they can then use to procure hotel room services. Basically, you're probably going to be booking out hotel rooms for them, for a period of years or months. Well, I should say for a period of probably 1 year or more. But let's take a look at this and see. So they've got a hotel NAICS code, and that's standard. This was posted today, September 11th, and the response deadline is September 13th. So they're only giving you today, tomorrow, and the next day. There's no changes or amendments or anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this and see what we have pulled up here. It's general requirement. So ordering activities may place orders at or below the micro purchase threshold of 10,000 and orders of up to 100,000. So they're telling you that they can, order between those two, min and max. The BPA holder shall provide a receipt to acknowledge the order, notify the ordering agency of the rooms available at the time of request, and then provide a tax exemption for all purchases covered under this, because remember guys, the US government does not pay taxes. So, and usually what you can do is, whatever service you're providing, you get that tax exemption that flows through to you as well. That way you don't get screwed playing monkey in the middle and you have to pay the taxes. You usually file for you use like a tax exempt form, and whoever's selling you something that you're selling to the government, they honor that way. So this is a pricing CLIN, a very standard, Excel table looking CLIN. They're probably just going to want you to price out what it's going to cost for one night. That way they can decide how many nights or how many days they want to purchase once the contract is awarded. So they just want to have a comparable rate. So, company A charges, $100, company B charges $115, and company C charges $130. If this is a LPTA lowest price contract, you're going to want to be the $100 company to win this. So let's see. This is not a very long document, and it's the only document they have. So I'm hoping that we find everything we need, but I'm not finding much important stuff just yet. Contract clauses. It's just going to have to be for so evaluation. Award will be made based on lowest price technically acceptable. So it's whoever's the lowest price wins, provided that they are found to be technically acceptable. And then technical acceptability is government's per diem rates per applicable locality. Hotel lodging offered shall be located within a 5 radius of the GSO airport. So this is what they want in 2 sentences. So they want the price of a room and the per diem rate, and they want it to be within 5 miles of the GSO airport. So whatever that rate is going to be, that's going to be, and you put in your markup, your profit, and that is essentially going to be how you calculate your price on this. And then you'll just want to, put in your short proposal response to this. Super short, probably will be just your company's, cover letter, and then like an index page, and then page 3 might be just like the pricing table, and then below that an asterisk, basically explaining what you're using for your rate, for your per diem rates for that locality, so that they know. And that's it. Super, super simple. And, it really should be apples to apples, because the per diem rate is the per diem rate everywhere. And it's just going to be your markup. So if you don't be greedy, you could probably win this one. It says the estimated value is $150,000. So they anticipate, using that much, money. Let me see here. Oh, I've got an alarm going off. I want to see if I can see the period or the duration for this. I feel like it's right under my nose. Okay, yeah, here we go. The BPA ordering period will be 5 years. It's like I always read like from the end, and then I go back to the beginning. So I find stuff at the beginning late. I didn't even read this first sentence yet. The transportation, the TSA has a requirement for emergent hotel rooms during a natural disaster or a contingency for the TSA Piedmont International Airport. So they're going to be booking out these rooms if shit hits the fan, or if the airport can't absorb, a bunch of delayed flights. Then it's going to kick back to you, and you're going to, be able to book these rooms for them. So they anticipate spending $150,000 worth of rooms over the period of 5 years. It's a BPA, so they might not even spend a dime. But if they do, the minimum purchase is going to be, what, they said 10,000? Or limited to $10,000 per occurrence, but that's different. Let's reread that. Order activities may place orders at or below the micro purchase threshold of 10,000. Right, yeah. So no, it's not a minimum of 10,000. It just means from the micro purchase level, they can't go over 10,000 on a credit card. But then contracting officers may also place orders of up to $100,000 directly with the BPA order, but that's not going to be a micro purchase. But it'll still be using the government's purchase card. So yeah, it could really be, it could be for a couple rooms. Like it could really be for any amount based on that dollar value. That's why it's really just a rate that they're asking for, because they don't know, because it's going to be based on natural disaster, but or an overflow to the airport. But I mean, based on those occurrences, you can best believe that in either situation, it's not just going to be a few rooms. So yeah, I mean, you want to develop a relationship with the hotel or something, and let them know you have a contract with TSA. It's very, very important that they give you rooms if something like this happens. That way, your order to fulfill on your obligation to the government under this BPA with the TSA. So that was interesting. I think we were able to pretty much look at everything, even in terms of a proposal response. Very, very simple, straightforward, not too difficult. And it would be a good thing, because if nothing really happens and they only have to use this a little bit, it's a good way to develop some past performance and develop a relationship with Peter Larson down here, and then any of the other folks you're going to come across as well. So that one wasn't too bad. I liked looking at that one. So let me see. Moving on to the next, we have this medical support assistant posted today, and the response date is in a week, so September 18th. They have a admin support NAICS code 561110, very common NAICS code. They're giving you a full week to respond. The place of performance is going to be in beautiful Italy. And this is for the U.S. Air Force. So they want you to provide management medical support assistant in the management program duties as specified with the PWS. So at first glance, that makes me think maybe it's just for like one staffed position, one FTE or something like that. So when you see 1920 hours, that's reflective of one full year, and the POP, the period of performance, the person is going to start working, September 27th. So not next week, but the week after that. And then we'll go for a base 1, base 2, base 3 option years. So far, this is a nice little contract to, have somebody staffed for medical support assistant services over in Italy. It looks fairly straightforward. I'm sure there's lots of people you could find that would want to go and work in Italy for 5 years. Mind you, these are option years, so if they're not happy with you, they only have to, use this contract for a base year, and then after that, actually, I'm not even seeing that these are option years. So, right, usually it's the base plus 2, 3, or 4 options, but these just look like years, so they might even be option years, which means you're guaranteed 1, 2, 3, 4 years. The fiscal year budget rate of 0.8592 will be used for conversion and evaluation. Okay, so this is the exchange rate, because this is, they want it in euros. So that's the exchange rate that they will be using, because it changes every minute, right? So description of services, not going to be super helpful. There's a summary of the minimum performance objectives. Performance evaluation. Yep, this is how they're going to rate your person once you start working. I want to know what's required in a proposal. So these are duties. These are the duties that the person will be doing. So when you're recruiting your person, you want to make sure that they understand each one of these duties, and then that they can perform. So this is also what I'm looking for. Here's the minimum quals, the qualifications, in terms of a resume and experience and education. I believe that's where they're going with this. And they want them to go to this orientation at the medical group command, where they go over smoking policy and infection control procedures, because now it's for, this is for the Air Force, right? Yeah. I was looking for the education requirements, but I didn't see that yet. Work schedule, 40 hours. Yep, 7:30 to 4:30. Holidays. Good stuff. And all the stuff I'm scrolling through, I would come back and read if this is something I was bidding, but I'll just show you how I kind of quickly move through these to see if it's something good, if it's something that I would be interested. So here they tell us the valuation, it will be price and technical acceptability. They want a FFP quote, firm fixed price quote, which means an all-inclusive quote for all the line items, the CLINs, the base year, and then the op. So they are calling them option years. So they are actually option years. So they are options. They don't have to execute them. All prices shall be submitted in either euro or dollars. And if it's dollars, they'll use that conversion. And they want it signed as well. And then they want a resume of key personnel. They want proof of education as required by the PWS. I must have scrolled over that, so we'll return back to that in a minute to see what the quotation is. Let me see. The price is determined to be reasonable and fair. Let me look. So they want the best overalls. It's not going to be price only because they want the person to have the proper education. But if you can find that, it probably is going to come down. So I don't really see. They're saying the best overall benefit to the government. They're not coming out and saying lowest price technically acceptable so far. But your quote must be valid for 3 months. I mean, if I were you guys bidding this, I would be as competitive on my pricing as possible because I think it's going to come down to that. Quotes are due 4 o'clock, August 15th. Well, that's long gone. See what I mean? Sometimes I talk about how they don't update their documents and they just copy and paste stuff. So I want to go back and I'm going to do a Control F for education. Like, I want to know, like, what do they need? A degree? I feel like they would. Education, high school diploma. Here we go. Or GED equivalency, medical terminology desired. So they're not even calling for college experience, which opens up your candidate pool much larger. I'm sure there's lots of even more people that would like to go. Let's see here. They want bilingual English and Italian is preferred, so that's going to be a big selling point if you find somebody who speaks Italian. Consideration will be given to those who have completed medical-related college-level coursework. So they didn't say it down here, but they're saying it up here. Anybody who has any sort of medical experience and can speak Italian, it's really going to put them ahead. And then, like I already mentioned, they have to attend this in-service orientation. Okay, so that helps. That makes me feel a little bit better at pricing this thing. So in your proposal, your cover page, and then your intro page, and then you put the person's resume, the key personnel that they asked for. Key personnel, yeah, it's right here. And basically call out everything in the PWS that they want, let them know that your person has it in 5.1 and 5.2, and then as well as the proof of education. If they have any college coursework, make sure you put that in there. And also make sure that they speak English, and if they are bilingual and they can speak Italian, put that at the very top as well. And then underneath that, do your pricing, do your basically they want a unit price and a total amount for the base year and the option year. So basically what they want to know is, what is it going to cost for 1 year? You have to fill this out. So you're going to fill this out. And then in your own proposal, you basically recreate this, is what I would do, in an Excel or a Windows doc table. And in Microsoft Word, in a Word table, recreate this, and then have a total, a grand total at the bottom so that they can see the breakdown as well as the grand total for these 4 years. Make sure you sign it because they want that. You should always sign your proposals anyways. And that's really it for a proposal response and what you would need to look for a candidate for this. So really pretty straightforward. Would be great to get a contract, for the Air Force. Air Force is a really good customer. They seem to have more money than the Army sometimes. Not sometimes. They have a bigger budget for sure. But they're just a little bit more clean and, I don't know, more delightful to work with, in my opinion. But I guess everybody's experience differs. So while I wipe the smudges off my glasses here, let's move to this last one. So, my God, maybe we won't look at this because it's got like 15 changes. I picked this one up because it's in my backyard. Yeah, we're not going to look at this. I'm not logged in, and there's a million changes. So let me see if I can't find one more for you guys. I want to make this a rather concise episode today and spare my voice. I'm going to have to do some talking later today. Let me see. This is one that I was going to pull, but I decided not to. See, it's another Air Force, but it's personal services, multi-gene, non-personal services. So again, it sounds like people or staffing to me. That's usually what non-personal services means. Place of performance is going to be at Travis Air Force Base in California with the ambulatory healthcare services. It's a medical NAICS code. Posted today, due September 20th, which is in a couple Fridays. This Friday is Friday the 13th, if you guys did not know. And it is also going to be the first full moon in 20 years. And it's also my girlfriend's sister's birthday. Little TMI there. But this Friday, I hear it's going to be, it's a full moon, and then it's the first full moon, I guess, in 20 years. So I'll probably just lock myself in my basement to avoid all the weirdos. I don't know. But how did we, this is due in 2 Fridays. That's how we got talking about that. So I don't see any changes or amendments. They have 6 documents here, a PWS, a past performance questionnaire, which means they are going to require past performance on this. And in the PPQs, you have to submit those to your references, and then the references complete them and then send them directly to the folks in contracting. They don't send it back to you because they're afraid that you're going to alter it and give yourself 5 stars. And then they have this past performance list of references, which I've never heard of, so we can look at that. They've broken out the instruction to offerers. You typically refer to as section L of a RFP or a RFQ, which tells you what they want in the proposal. And then the evaluation, section M, is how those sections are going to be weighted and evaluated, either best value or lowest price typically. And then they have a solicitation here. So they've done a really good job, and credit to the Air Force. Like I said, things are usually a little bit more clean and smooth and organized. They've broken down all of the very important documents that are in a RFP typically. They've broken them out instead of just putting them all in one document and you have to search for them all. It takes a little bit longer. And if any of you guys, if you haven't caught my latest course, I break down each one of these and I walk through a real RFP episode, kind of like what we're doing today, but I spend an hour and a half doing it. I go into a lot more detail, just talking about each section of a proposal and a RFP rather. And then, compare that and put together a proposal outline. So, check the Facebook group out if you want the link for that. I posted it not too long ago. But it's on Udemy, so that's udemy.com. And if you just search government contracts in the search bar in Udemy, I've got 2 courses up there, and they both come up on the first page, and the thumbnail is my face, so just look for my face. But the one I'm referring to, it's called Reading RFPs, so just watch for that if you want more of this type of stuff, but in more detail, as well as I have downloadable attachments, which of course you don't get these on YouTube, so that's what makes the course a little bit more worth it. And the course is usually on Udemy. It's a discount course website, so you can get, each course for, between, I don't know, $5 and $20. So they're very discounted. That's their whole business model. So anyways, enough about that. It's back to work. So we're opening the PWS. Remember, this is Travis Air Force Base, multi-gene, non-personal services. We don't know what that means yet. We just know it's medical related. Let me see. Literally just scrolled through the entire document and just like, okay. Nothing really jumped out to me. All right. Well, maybe we don't start with the PWS then. Let's go back to the RFP. All right, so here's a standard SF 1449, which is exactly what I go over in that course. Actually, coincidentally, as you see, this is the first of the three that we've looked at. So every agency uses some sort of different form, and there's reasons behind their madness, and I don't know all of the reasons. I'm not a contracting officer. I don't claim to be one. I just know that this is a fairly common and one of my favorite type of layouts because I know what to expect. There's no surprises, and I know all the right, boxes to check and all that good stuff. So, but this is nice to see. They've got a pricing sheet, but then we have a lot of, so there's this Oncotype DX breast test, prostate test. So these look like tests or examinations with quantities. So that tells us a little bit. This may not be for people like I thought it was. It was just non-personal services, which usually I see for people, but it can be for quote unquote services as well, where you actually provide something. Something like this would go to a lab. If this is like testing, this would have to go to a lab. The work is going to begin the beginning of October and go through September next year. And they're doing Clin 1 and Clin 2. So for those two different types of tests, the breast test and the prostate test, they're testing for cancer, it sounds like. And then there's going to be option year 1 for both tests, option year 2 for both tests, option year 3, and option year 4. So this is a 5-year contract base plus 4 options to provide the tests. And like I said, my guess is this would have to go to some sort of lab or testing. I guess just lab, right? I think lab is the right term here, where you send, something in to be looked at under a microscope, and then they give you back with the results, and hopefully everything's good news. We got reps, inserts, and clauses. We scroll through. Instructions to offers. That's what I was looking for. So they want you to fill out the pricing table. They want you to do the past performance questionnaires that we'll look at next. And then they want you to sign the amendments. And then they say, in regards to the past performance, provide a list of no more than 3 for relevant and recent contracts. So I'll show you. When you have to, let me see, do they have it? Did they take away the sheet? There's normally page 2 to this SF 1449, and it's where you would acknowledge amendments. There's a little box that you check there. Let me see. I'll just Control F. If you're ever looking for something, just Control F is your best friend. Yeah. So they're actually missing the page for this. In that case, what you would do is just in your quote, you would acknowledge. You would say, I acknowledge amendments 1, 2, 3, or however many there are. They would have a number associated with them. The solicitation number, when there's an amendment, they'll put numbers and letters after it. So you just reference that number. You just write it in your proposal. but there are no amendments, and so as of yet, there's no amendments, so you don't even have to worry about that. And if they did, it would probably be posted as a new RFP, and they may have that form in there where you can acknowledge it as well, and then you could check the box. But right now, you don't have to worry about it. Going to the PPQ, the Past Performance Questionnaire. So they want you to send this whole thing to up to 3 references, and then they will fill this out, using these numbers and rate based on these questions how well of a job you did. This past performance list, I don't know what this is. So here's just going to be a list. Say you send it to 3 people, and then, or 3 references, 3 different jobs. Then you'll just break those down here, 1, 2, 3 different ones, basically, so that they know what to expect, I guess. Typically, they don't have this form. Usually it's just the PPQ, but it's not too hard. Instruction to offers, we kind of already read it, but they broke it out here for you. Pricing, past performance, and acknowledge amendments. We've already seen that. And then the evaluation, we haven't seen. Past performance and price. Past performance is significantly more important than price. So this is what would be a best value contract, where whoever has the best past performance and a competitive price will win as the best value that the government's getting. So they say this is a competitive best value source selection, like I just said. So you want to be competitive on your price, but don't go so low, because the lowest guy is not necessarily going to win, and they probably won't. In these type of solicitations, they're usually afraid to go with the low guy, unless they just have, an existing relationship with them. Maybe they're an incumbent who's already been doing this work, and they, they know how to price it right. Otherwise, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Price what you think you need, and if you have, stellar past performance. If you don't have good past performance, I wouldn't even waste your time on this, because you're going to be going up against companies that do. And again, this is sort of like a lab service thing. It's going to be very niche. This isn't going to be something that a new GovCon business is just going to, try and bid on. So there's not going to be a lot of responses to this probably. And unless, this is in your wheelhouse and you have past performance, I wouldn't even bother looking at it. But I wasn't even going to go through this one once, I kind of figured that out. But I wanted to take you through these different documents and show you, because you'll see this a lot in other RFPs that you may be interested in bidding. I mean, this is a very nice layout that they have. And it really mirrored what I go through in that course that I talked about. So yeah, it was really nice to walk through these. Even though the content may not be for you, it is good practice and experience. So those are a good solid 3 that we've walked through today, guys. It's going to be it. So feel free to like this video if you liked it, if you get some value from these type of videos. I always appreciate a like. Comment on the video if you have any questions or something specific. And also, if you like these videos, consider subscribing. Definitely growing the subscriber base. Only started a couple months ago. And, the more people, more love we can get on the bandwagon here on the YouTube channel, the better. Lastly, if you have not checked it out, and this is your first time kind of getting exposed to me and, GovKid Method, I started govkidmethod.com as a website. There's a lot of free resources there to help you get started in GovCon and to get your business registered and get your set-asides, get your cage number, your DUNS number, get set up in SAMS. I've got a free capability template there. You just download it. It's a Word doc, and you can make it your own. So a lot of free resources. If you don't know yet, go check out govkidmethod.com. And, I have a lot of other videos that talk about that in the channel as well. So until next time, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, we will see you.